That's a central tremor for you. So, Battle, I'm underneath the 71, but I'm going to go ahead and just not even deal with Mama and the girls right now because they don't want to deal with me. So I'm out here to turn a wrench. It's a 7/8 drain pan bolt. And unfortunately, I haven't run the 71 for quite a while, so I don't have the engine hot, but this oil probably only has 250 miles on it, if that. And that was pretty darn loosey-goosey. We'll see what color the oil is, Battle. Look at that. It doesn't even hardly look dirty. Well, it doesn't look dirty compared to the oil that comes out of the diesel engine in my Bullnose truck. We'll let that drain. You can see that the headers are dirty as hell. But at least they fit pretty good. And I know I've seen those Power Master shows or those other shows that show that having to ding the collectors on the headers don't really affect the horsepower. But of course, if you have to massage the headers with a ball peen hammer to get them in, that's just a sign of poor build quality. And then, of course, the guy with the red beard is going to find out about it and you'll never live it down. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot the drain pan over a little bit, Battle, because I'm going to disconnect the filter. Hopefully it's not too tight. I knocked the mini tripod when I went and got the tool to remove the oil filter. And since I have to use the tool, that shows you that I put it on too tight. Or else maybe just because the engine hasn't been run in an age makes it harder to get off. There we go. Make sure my drip pan's far enough over. Of course, there's so many fluids that drip from the bottom of this car. Does it make a big difference? There we go. It's coming on out. While that's draining, this right here is the washer I'm going to put on it. It is a Dorman part number 097-021 Charlie Delta. And it is a metal washer with a rubber insert. And I actually like these ones better than that blue nylon one that I dropped in the old oil. The blue nylon one I also used on my Bullnose truck. Recently, I did a video on changing the oil, but I haven't posted it yet. We'll see when I post this one and when I post the video about changing the oil on my Bullnose truck. Changing the oil is a pretty simple procedure. I think most of us that watch automotive videos or do automotive videos on YouTube, that's one we start with. Because unless you're driving a Tesla or an electric vehicle, Rivian, I suppose, you're not going to have to change the oil in your vehicle. All right. It's just dripping a little bit now. I'll go ahead and put the drain pan bolt back in. Get it finger tight. Wipe off the nastiness. Get my 7/8 socket guten tight. All right. See if I can prevent making a mess. Make sure you dispose of the oil properly. Your local auto parts store will take it. There are guys that take the waste motor oil and run it in their old diesel trucks. I've thought about doing it in my Bullnose, but wouldn't want to kill an injector or an injection pump. That injection pump already has 140,000 miles on it. I guess it would be the injection pump to kill. I suppose the auto parts store just sells it to a recycler or to, one of those shops that has a waste oil heater. So it ends up getting burned anyways. But justify whatever you want. I'm not going to put it in my Bullnose. And it looks like I have about 4.5 quarts out of the 71, plus half a quart in the filter. So that's about right. The other engine that I had rebuilt, it has a Mylodon deep sump pan on it. So that takes an additional quart. I wanted to get the Moroso pan. In fact, I did get the Moroso pan, and I had my 455 on the engine stand before I installed it, and with oil in the Moroso pan sitting on the stand, it leaked. So I got another one, and that leaked as well. So finally I went to the Mylodon pan, and it did what it was supposed to, and it held the oil in the engine without leaking. There's the nylon gasket that I dropped into the waste oil. But that's the old gasket, so it's going to hit the circular file. But you can see what you can use on the oil pan drain plug to prevent a little bit of the excess drips from a car and an engine that's over 50 years old. All right, here's the old filter battle. Here's the new filter. You can see the number 51258. And then just to let you know, the 51049 will also fit the Oldsmobile 455, but the parts store did not have the 51049. And you can see this was a 51258 that I pulled off of the car. There's still a little bit of oil in that. So let's go ahead and open this on up. Here's the new filter, the 51258, just like the old one. Here's my receipt. Won't need the box. Of course, you can get aftermarket filters. You can get store brand filters. Just use the one that gives you the most peace of mind. I like this brand. Here's a funnel. And then here is a quart of the motor oil. So we'll go ahead and fill this guy up. Got to give it a second so that it seeps into every nook and cranny of the filter. Use some of the clean oil and put it on the gasket of the new filter. And then notice the gasket is there on my old filter, so it's not hiding out, stuck to the engine. You want to double check that. Make sure that the old gasket isn't on the oil filter housing of the engine, because it's going to leak like a sieve if it's got a double gasket on it. So battle, let's go ahead and head back underneath the 71 and put this filter on. And then we will fill it full of oil. Here we are underneath the car again. We did a comparo on the old filter and the new filter. And we put oil in the new filter. So let's go ahead and get this filter up in there. You can use a shop rag and just go ahead and get the worst of the old oil off of the oil filter housing. Here's the new guy. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Spin it on there. Get it snug. and then give it another quarter turn. That's all it takes. So now we're ready to put oil in the engine. Let's go ahead and fill up the engine with oil. We put about half a quart into the filter. Here's the rest of it. Here's the oil fill tube. You can identify an Oldsmobile engine by the oil fill tube that's right behind the water pump. Give it a second to drain. Like I told you before, Battle, I really missed the mark on this car. I had a single wire Jegs alternator on it for years and years, and it did a good job, but then it died. And instead of doing a direct replacement, I did some reading online and on the forums, and I thought to myself, oh, well, I'll just get this alternator here. You can sort of see the nastiness from the belt. So it's probably side loaded. You can see all the nastiness there behind the thermostat housing. It's something I need to address eventually. So once that's drained, go ahead and set this guy out of the way, down where my charcoal canister should be. Get my funnel and fill it the rest of the way. Maybe another good idea for a video is to refinish that air filter housing, because it's pretty nasty. Then again, I think this car would be a good candidate for an engine swap. Not with the rebuilt 455 I have, but maybe an LS engine or a Triton V8. We'll see. I just need to get it running again. Well, I think with charging the battery and hooking it up, it would start. This engine has over 90,000 miles on it, because the odometer reads like 94,000, and I maybe put 1,000 or 2,000 on that engine that I had rebuilt. So majority of the miles are on this engine, which is original to the car. It smokes a little, but it gets around town. There we go. 5 quarts. Thanks for joining me, Battle. Make sure you tune in next week. I post a video every Friday. And leave a comment down below. Tell me what kind of filters you use and what kind of oil you put in your Oldsmobile engine. Does it make a difference, or do you just need to make sure that you change the oil regularly? Please consider liking and subscribing. See you next time, Battle. Here's a link to another video on my 1971 Oldsmobile 98. Hurry up and click it now. Okay, Battle, here is the little blue nylon. Nice. Well, at least the oil's not hot. Dadgum.